Okay, so this is my prototype Bugout bag. It's actually a Bulldog bag, and I picked this up from Cabela's. It was normally $50, but I got it for 20. I didn't realize it until after I got home, but it had a huge rip in the side. The whole thing was just gutted, and so I had to sew it all up, but I did a pretty good job. So anyway, I think this is supposed to be a gun bag, but I noticed with all the pockets and the heavy-duty zippers, this might make a really good survival, 3-day survival bug-out bag, just something to carry in the Jeep that I have on me at all times, just in case. So here we go. We'll just go through it, and like I said, this is the prototype, so obviously there's going to be some things that are missing, and there's already a few things that I want to put in here that that I haven't gotten to yet. But so far, this is way better than what I had before, which was nothing. So anyway, again, we'll just start with this one here. This one I've got, I don't know if you can see here, so I've got a roll of electrical tape. I've got a bandana, which would obviously be good for wearing over your head, doing a tourniquet, covering your face with, like for a mask, like for dust or particulates or that sort of thing. I've got my pellet gun here, which this is actually my favorite pellet gun. It's a Crossman single shot pellet, and I've had it for years, and it's deadly accurate. It'd be great for small game, birds, squirrels, that sort of thing. Not that I'm currently proficient in skinning those, but you know, I guess catching them is the first part. So I got some pellets there. I need to get a few more of those, and a knife. And it's cool because on the other side you'll see I'm using them. It's got some great elastic slots here for like little jars or whatever else. So I'll just put that in here. So, it was actually a bit of a tight fit to get the pellet gun in here, but it did fit, and that's important. And you know, under best cases, I would have my pistol in there. But okay, so let's flip around the other side, and in here we've got a bunch of stuff. So we've got compass, and we've got a pair of gloves, and these are the good kind of open finger kinds that turn into mittens. These are like my favorite. Those are really great. And here I've got inside the bag, this is my magnifying glass for starting fires, obviously during the daytime, because you'd be kind of stupid to try and do it by moonlight. Got a GPS. Then I got, absolutely got to have staple, some of this great espresso powder. A little bit goes a long way in making coffee. I've got this radio that runs either off of batteries or off of a crank, and it does, I'm pretty sure it does, let's double check here. It's got radio, AM, FM, some sort of alert. I'm not sure what that is. It's got a light, and it's even got this cool little stand in the back to prop it up. Always got to stay informed what's going on. And here's the little elastic things I was telling you about. So right now I'm using these bay leaf jars or whatever, and just for right now I've got, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but there's a couple little granola bars in there, and some hard candy, some Starburst. So if nothing else in an emergency, at least you have something with you. Even if it's not to fill up your stomach, psychologically having something to chew on is really important, because as I'm sure you know, psychology really plays a big role in survival, and even something as small as your favorite piece of candy can go a long way towards giving you that mindset of survival and just sense of well-being, that everything's going to be okay. So let's put this back in here. These gloves were actually crammed in here pretty good. Since I'm trying to make this video as short as possible, I don't want to take up a whole lot of time trying to get it back in there. So let's get back to this a little bit later, I suppose. Okay, so and then on the end here, I've got an emergency blanket. Pull these out. Got emergency blanket, and yet another emergency blanket, and then a poncho, which plastic would work for a number of things, but staying dry is obviously important, and comfortable is also really important. Once again, that state of mind I was talking about And you know, a lot of this stuff I'm telling you, you already know. But as I'm just going through describing this, helps you give a little bit of idea into how I'm thinking. And obviously, once we get a chance to talk again, if there's anything specifically that you think of as like, hey, wow, this would be awesome if you had that, or you should totally have this, or whatever, or take that out, you don't need it, it's not important, you know, totally tell me, because, you know, this is just good. This is a work in progress. So I've got some gold bond. Chris picked this up for me. Obviously, really important. I've also got some baby powder in here that I'll remove and replace with this. Some binoculars, potentially pretty important. And then here, oh yeah, I forgot about the pocket on the other side. In here I've got some stormproof matches. Now these are smoking cool. Let me just take this out here real quick and show you. I don't know if you can be able to see. So these are amazing matches. Just pull one out here so you can see. Okay. These suckers, these flare up and burn really hot. Wind, rain, doesn't matter. I tested them out on the last camping trip just to light the stove, and they were really amazing. So these come really highly recommended from the subreddit of I think it was either the bushcraft or survival. It also comes with some extra strikers, so that's important. Also have some fire starting material. This is just compressed sawdust and some wax, but it's dry, help you start a fire when you need to. A watch, gotta have a watch. And in here we've got a multi-tool, screwdriver, knife, pliers, standard issue for multi-tool. Flashlight, gotta have flashlight. What else we got in here? Oh, this is called Swedish Steel. It's a striker and the tint, and I'm actually not terribly proficient at this yet, but strike it, make fire, really great. So let's put all this stuff back in here. Flashlight, multi-tool. So once again, we'll get back to that. Let me flip this back around and get to this pocket. This is the side with the ponchos. Open this up, and inside, I won't pull all of these out, but these are hand warmers, foot warmers of various types. The air-activated ones, not the kind that you boil. I've never found those work really well, and they don't last very long. So, but those are really good. Let's open this up, and this has a great double pull zipper, which allows you to really fit a lot of stuff in here. So this is a, you know, if you can tell, it's a face covering mask. It's actually for skiing, but it would be really great for cold weather. Roll of duct tape. Playing cards, really important to keep your mind active and your spirits up. And a good game of solitaire can do that. Zip ties, suckers are like magic. Love those. And then I have a big bag of miscellaneous stuff, everything from deodorant to Deep Woods Off, some Band-Aids, Q-tips, toothbrush, toothpaste, fingernail clippers, Blistex. Tried to cover just about everything I could think of, and obviously, once again, work in progress as we go through that. Just a general first aid kit. This is 81 pieces, everything from compresses to analgesics and gloves, and I mean just a whole bunch of stuff. So that's really lightweight, pretty compact, good to have in here. This is very similar to that first aid kit. Now this is made out of I think it's I forget what kind of plastic it is, but it's got number 7 on the bottom. That means don't drink out of it. I guess in a pinch you could, but prolonged exposure to drinking out of this type of plastic can not be good for you. So, but anyway, inside of here there's batteries, a little roll of duct tape, some paracord, a compass, a match holder, emergency light, face mask, another blanket, some more batteries, a little tiny multi-tool, another poncho, just a really wide variety crammed in this little pack. I've had this for years. This was originally given to me by Eddie Bowers, an emergency kit for my desk, and it just had to make it into the bag because it was so handy, just the variety of things that were in there. And then I've also got, let's see that one. This is the U.S. Army Survival Manual. This is everything from treating insect and snake bites to making spears and capturing amphibians and reptiles, building lean-tos and shelters, making all sorts of different fires. So obviously, any skill that you're lacking, this should be able to cover it. And then obviously, I think pretty much the last thing here that I have, and this goes back to keeping the spirits up and the mind active. Pretty much nothing's better than that than this. This is my Bible. Gotta take this along. I actually have a little bit smaller version that I'm going to swap out for this to save a little bit on weight, but gotta have this. You never know when you're going to be by yourself or maybe even run into anyone else, and in times when people are in trouble and in need, nothing's going to raise the spirits like this. So anyway, that is pretty much it for the bag so far. It weighs in at about 15 pounds. So I'm not sure on the scale how good that is or bad it is. I'm sure that if I were to transfer all this into a backpack, I would have a lot more space and it'd be a lot easier to carry. But I was just able to fit so much in such a small space, and I think it's ultimately more easily accessible this way. In a backpack, things would get lost in the depths, and maybe you wouldn't be able to put all of the fire making in one pocket. You'd have to split it up, or it would all be in one deep pocket. At least in the backpack I have. There's some other survival packs that I'm looking at that range at about $50 up to $80 that might have just a ton of pockets and ultimately would replace this. But like I said, for now, this is going to be the bag that rides with me and pretty much covers it. So anyway, there you go. Give me any feedback that you have, and I will talk to you later.